Hey everybody, CJ Grisham here. I wanted to give you a quick legislative update. I'm here as a delegate at the Republican Party of Texas convention in San Antonio. I've been here since Monday. Rick has been here since Monday, our legislative director, and we have been working nonstop, very hard in the platforms committee as well as the legislative priorities committee. And so I wanted to give you an update because the permanent committees have finalized what they have recommended as the platform for the Republican Party of Texas. And a lot of that is, when it relates to gun rights, we had a lot of input into that. And it contributed some of the language as well to that. So I just wanted to give a quick update about what at least the Republican Party grassroots delegates are pushing for legislative priorities next year. So this is what these are some of the resolutions that have been approved as part of the party platform that I wanted to share because they do affect you guys. First of all, one that's been there for a while, it's the right to self-defense. We affirm that lawful gun ownership and carry by the people protects us and those who wish to do harm and guards against tyranny by our own government. The right to self-defense. I mean, that should be in everyone's platform. If you're a party, you believe in any kind of liberty, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, doesn't matter. The right to self-defense, I think, should be self-evident, if anything. But the very next one, platform number 70, is constitutional carry, and this is language that we had a great deal of influence over writing. We support constitutional carry legislation through any legislative means, so law-abiding citizens can carry any legally owned guns openly or concealed while maintaining the option of a permit for reciprocity purposes only. So we are fighting to get rid of the license. We don't want it tied to the not get rid of it, but make it voluntary. And then the next thing is gun-free zones. There's a few other Second Amendment planks in here. But they're not necessarily things that we've been pushing. Of course, we support it. You've got the Intrastate Protection Act. This wasn't necessarily ours, but this is actually a really good platform plank because it says we support an intrastate protection act to clarify that guns made and sold in Texas are not subject to the Interstate Commerce Clause of the U.S. Constitution, and legislation denying state funding to any state or local agencies that enforce federal weapons laws not also affirmed by the laws of Texas. So not only do they believe that federal laws don't apply to guns made and sold here in Texas, but they also believe that any enforcement of these federal laws that don't exist in the state law should be defunded, any agencies that try to enforce those. All right, the next one that we helped with is the gun-free zones. We oppose governmental prohibitions on citizens who have a constitutional right to own and carry firearms and knives from doing so. We oppose state-mandated location restrictions, gun-free zones. We oppose those. This is again, the party platform. So we oppose state-mandated location restrictions, the Federal Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, and the National Firearms Act. So again, this is a platform item. Now, all of these things, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Next thing, here we go. The red flag. Obviously, with Governor Abbott talking about being friendly or at least open to suggestion with regard to red flag laws, we did get a plank in there that specifically says we oppose monitoring programs, including the red flag, that would deprive someone of their right to keep and bear arms without being convicted of a crime and found mentally incompetent by a proper professional, medical, psychiatric professional. We oppose iWatch programs and any program that causes gun owners to be investigated by law enforcement or appear before a judge when there is no reasonable cause of a crime committed. In other words, if someone just says, I think this person's nuts, or I think that person's dangerous, they can't just go around grabbing guns and levying these things. We oppose increased background checks as they are highly prone to false positives and hinder law-abiding citizens' ability to defend themselves rather than reduce crime. So there's the red flag aspect of it. The next one is firearms storage. We oppose mandates on personal firearms storage, maintaining maintaining that it is the responsibility of the individual, not the government, the responsibility of the individual to safely store his or her firearms and choose responsibly when and how to make them available to minors. Government should be encouraging responsibility, but you can't legislate responsibility and common sense. And all you do is create problems when you do. We support all legislation and policies that reduce restrictions on legal gun owners to purchase, own, or carry any type of gun, ammunition, accessory, knife, or other weapon, and oppose all that hinder the same. And then the one that we wrote, again, specifically, this is literally our language, Open Carry Texas. We call that's not it. Where'd it go? There it is. We believe law-abiding citizens 18 years and older have the right to purchase, possess, and carry firearms, including handguns. So we believe that if you can strap on a rifle or a firearm and defend yourself in a foreign country, you should be able to do the same and defend yourself here in this country. And so that's another one of ours. Now, there's a few others here. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's a lot of debate about this. On the platform, we call for the Texas legislature to propose to the people of Texas a constitutional amendment striking the following words from Article 1, Section 23, which is our state constitution's version of the Second Amendment. This is the part they want to scratch. But the legislature shall have the power by law to regulate the wearing of arms with a view to prevent crime. Some would argue, and I'm kind of in this camp, if we get rid of that, we actually open up the state to more gun regulation. As it is right now, the way the Constitution is written, theoretically, is that anytime a gun law is passed, it is required under the Constitution to be passed only with a, quote, view to prevent crime. So you can't pass a law, for example, on a magazine capacity limit if you can't prove that doing so would reduce crime. And I don't think anyone can argue that a magazine capacity limit would reduce crime, because it's still a crime whether you shoot someone once or you shoot someone 30 times. It's the same death. So in some ways, and there's an argument to this, and I'm not saying which way I fall on this, although I tend to support the current language only because it's more restrictive of the government. The problem is we haven't constitutionally challenged those things very well. So anyway, that's another thing that's on there. Responsible gun owners, just encouraging gun owners to get training, which I think that's what we do as Open Carry Texas anyway. We encourage everyone to be trained. National reciprocity. We urge Congress to abolish the TSA. Oh wait, I moved out of guns. Okay, well anyway, that's a good one anyway. We want to get rid of the TSA. All right, so those are all the gun platforms so far. These are not. This is what I was gonna. This is what I'll end with. These are not completely final because the Republican delegates have not finalized and accepted the committee's recommendations for these planks. So we still have to do that. There's probably going to be some argument on several of these issues, but rest assured we have plenty of people here who are delegates, who are members of Open Carry Texas, who are representing your rights to keep and bear arms, and we will fight any effort to either strike or amend or water down any of these platform issues in a way that is going to make our rights more subject to being lost or infringed upon. And there was one more thing I want to talk about. The number one, the very first aspect of the legislative priorities that was passed out of permanent committee is constitutional carry. So not only is that in our platform, but it is also the number one legislative priority for the Republican Party next year so far. Again, that could potentially be amended, but we don't think so because the level of support for constitutional carry that we've seen in the convention hall coming to our booth is astronomical. If we don't get constitutional carry next year, something is very, very wrong especially if we keep the numbers in the Senate and the House that we have right now as far as Republicans go. So, anyway, thanks for those of you who are watching. Yes, I agree. Government needs to be restricted. Hello to I lost some of those comments, but hello, those that said hi. Thanks for watching. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I've lost my voice because I was yelling at George P. Bush while he was speaking into the convention to the delegates, and I was screaming to save the Alamo and calling him a liar for wanting to protect it. Everything that he's done has been to destroy. He's done nothing to protect the Alamo, and thankfully I wasn't the only one booing and the only one heckling about the Alamo. There are a lot of pissed off Texans at George P. Bush, and I know that's not a gun rights thing, but in a sense it is, because that's where they drew the line in the sand. And the Battle of the Alamo, we shall always remember the Alamo. And that was our first major rally of Open Carry Texas, was at the Alamo, where we brought 1,200 armed people to the Capitol. So, all right, I'm at 11:20. I only wanted this to be a 10-minute video. Take care, guys. God bless you. Stay safe, and carry always. Take care.